all, your SAA, Sergeant at Arms Evaluation Club, takes it very seriously, providing us all with a safe and secure meeting. We want you to know a high level of trust, honor, and respect for each participant is not only encouraged, but required. Masters of Evaluation members are focused on perfecting their speaking, leadership, and evaluation skills, which eliminates any possible room for personal offense. As Sergeant at Arms, it is also my role to share a few practices with you so that we have a smooth flowing meeting. For example, we ask you to silence your phones. We do want to see you. Hello there. Unless you are moving around, eating, or drinking. If that's the case, turn off your video, but turn it back on and be with us once you have finished your movements. In order to make our meeting more interactive, we ask everyone to usually keep your video and certainly your attention on. Finally, if you are serving in a speaking or functionary role, we ask you to rename yourself right now so we may identify what role you serve. These few recommendations will ensure we all have an enjoyable, comfortable, and memorable visit together. Again, please remember to turn your phone back on once our meeting has concluded. You don't want to miss any messages from your dear friends or your not so dear friends. It's now my pleasure to bring to our virtual stage our dynamic, always intentional, and fun-loving elected president of Masters of Evaluation, Jon White.
Thank you very much, April. You
Turn
always
that
do an
camera
excellent
on,
job.
Jon.
It sounded
See your handsome face.
particularly nice. Thank you. Good to see you all. Welcome to the last meeting of 2023. Where did the time go? It's my pleasure to welcome our guests to the meeting. Renan, is it?
Yes, my name is Henan.
I was going to ask you how you found out about us. If it's through Dave Ryan and he's your boss, feel free to say very nice things about him. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Wish you well on the promotion.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I'm here to support Dave Ryan on his speech. And we have this local club in a company, Analog Devices, which is a very nice name, if I must say. The company is Analog Devices. That's it. So, yeah, I wish him all the luck. And thank you, everyone, for welcoming me.
One question, is he as good a co-worker as he is a Toastmaster and MoEer? We hold him in high regard.
Absolutely.
Okay, we know the same Dave Ryan. Welcome. David, don't act shocked. Just say like, yeah, I get it all the time. Any other guests? Reed AI is here. He or she never responds to my questions. It's my pleasure, and it's appropriate that I'm turning the lectern to not a new member, but are you new, Jessper? Within a year? How long have you been with us?
It's almost been a year.
Almost been a year, but it feels like 2 or 3 based on the progress he made, the impact he's had on the club, and the visibility that MoE enjoys because of him. So it's my pleasure to turn it over to Jessper as our Toastmaster. Jessper?
2023. What a year it has been. And I hope it has been eventful for you, and it was as it was for me. This year, I took a road trip from Iowa to Nebraska, and then from Kansas to Missouri. This year, my siblings introduced a new dog to our family, a Labradoodle named Toby. And this year, most importantly, I joined Toastmasters. As we approach the end of the year, it's time to say farewell. Farewell to 2023. That's today's theme. And today's meeting offers a great opportunity for us to reflect on our favorite memories, highlights, and lessons learned over the year. I know our Table Topics Master Judith has some great questions lined up for our theme today. With that said, let's get to know our functionaries today. On our team, I'd like to introduce Shantae as our Zoo Master. I know she's on her way, but let's look forward to what she has to offer today. Next up, we have our General Evaluator, Helen. And as she introduces herself, what I'd like to know is, in one word, describe how your 2023 was to you. And in 15 seconds or less, tell us why.
Thank you, Jessper. It was it was joyful, yeah, on the whole, because I don't like regrets. We've all had very good holidays, and I found new direction with my public speaking sort of career, which has been a good thing. So I've put to bed to one things, and then I'm opening new doors for 2024, which I am looking forward to. Thank you.
Thank you, General Valerie Helen, and tell us about your role today.
Oh yes, sorry, forgot about that bit. Yes, General Evaluator. So I will be watching out for the other roles, for timer, grammarian, how the general meeting operates, how smoothly it is, and things like that, and also looking at possible ways to help or support or improve the actual evaluators for our speakers this evening. Thanks, Jessper.
Thank you, General Evaluator Helen. Next up, we have our word of the day and grammarian, April. April, in one word, tell us how your 2023 was in one word, and then tell us why. We'll come back to April. Next up, we have our timer, John. John, in one word, how was your 2023 to you, and tell us why in 15 seconds or less.
Not sure John's here. You may need to appoint a new timer.
He's
I'm-
dead.
Oh, he's
I'm
landed.
Oh, he's unmuted.
From COVID and remote, but I will be here as your timer today. And as your timer, I will give our speeches. Is it 5 to 7? Jasper? How long are our speeches?
I'm seeing 8 to 10 and 5 to 7.
8 to 10,
I
5 to 7.
I
Okay.
see 8 to 10 for David Ryan and 5 to 7 for Ray Sweeney. Is that correct?
Is that correct? All right. So at 8 minutes, if it works out for you all, I will be doing a green sheet. I'm using this computer for the first time in a while, and it's not doing what I wanted to do. Let's see here. At 8 minutes, I will give a green. At 9 minutes, a yellow, and at 10 minutes, or should I do 9 or 10 minutes a red? Is that appropriate? Okay, good. All right. And then for our second speech, I will do 5 minutes at green, 6 minutes at yellow, and 7 minutes at red. For our table topics, I will do 1 minute at green, 1.5 yellow, and red will be at 2. And for our evaluations, I will do 2 minutes at green, 2.5 at yellow, and 3 at red. And I'll give you a report on who did what by the end. Thank you.
Thank you, timer John. And let's circle back to April, our word of the day and grammarian. All right, we can come back to that. Let's move on to our speeches. We have our first evaluator, Rimbidzai. I do believe she was on the call. Oh, there you are. And yes, in one word, how would you describe your 2023? And tell us why in 15 seconds or less.
It was challenging. Challenging in the sense that I relocated to a different part of the Gulf and just trying to assimilate between the different organizational cultures has been quite a challenge, but it's work in progress.
Thank you, Rimbidzai. And oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's all in a nutshell.
Thank you. And could you introduce the speaker objectives for David Ryan?
Right. Thank you very much. So today, David Ryan will be taking his projects, the Distinguished Toastmaster Pathways Project number 2. Now, the purpose of the project is to demonstrate skills as a leader and a public speaker. The overview is to plan and complete a project that benefits an organization, where you may choose to revisit any previous Toastmasters Pathways project that contains information to help you to complete your project, to develop a team and design a plan. You will organize the project and lead your team to complete it and deliver an 8 to 10 minute speech at a club meeting to review your project, its outcomes, benefits, and the lessons learned. So today's David Ryan will be presenting his speech title, Lose Yourself. Lose Yourself, David Ryan.
Thank you, Evaluator Rumbadzai. Ladies and gentlemen, in September 2016, Dave took his first steps into the world of Toastmasters. Today, we witness the culmination of his journey, a final speech on his path to becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. His words today hold not just reflections, but a call to action, urging us all to embrace and lean into our passions. Let's listen intently as Dave shares his wisdom and inspires us to take the next step in our own transformative journeys. Please welcome Dave as he shares his DTM project experiences and lights the way for our own aspirations. Inviting to our virtual stage, David Ryan, speech title, Lose Yourself. Lose Yourself, David Ryan.
Palms are sweaty, weak knees, arms are heavy. Luckily, there's no vomit on my sweater this morning. But did you know that besides our spell of bleach blonde hair, Eminem and Dave Ryan have something else in common: a fear of public speaking. What if we could help 15 of our colleagues take to the stage in front of hundreds of their peers and deliver the speech that they are truly capable of? That was my mission. And before I go on, I can ask you, what is your mission? This is a recap of my Distinguished Toastmaster project. And if I wind the clock back to June 2023, on the 2nd of June, I sat here in this meeting and the spark of this idea was ignited in me. Up until that point, have you ever felt like you really deserve something already? Maybe it's a promotion, a raise, a new job, or a holiday. Well, I felt like that in June. I felt I already deserved to be a distinguished Toastmaster. I've been in Toastmasters 7 years. I've done my dynamic leadership project, check. Effective coaching, check. And for those of you who've been in Toastmasters long enough to remember, competent communicator, advanced leader bronze, advanced leader silver, area director, club president, club sponsor, club mentor, check, 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 check. I felt like I already deserved to be a distinguished Toastmaster. And I was thinking about taking the easy way out, about giving 2 speeches on a project that I've already done or something that I'm going to do anyway for work. I was really thinking about taking this easy way out. But on the 2nd of June, Judith gave a speech about her Distinguished Toastmaster journey and about her speechcraft experience. And it sparked an idea. That is what I'm going to do my Distinguished Toastmaster project on. What if in just 5 weeks, we could take 15 peers and give them the platform to deliver the speeches that they're capable of? See, every year our company, Analog Devices, runs a European technical conference where we bring together hundreds of our colleagues in Limerick and we present what we've been working on over the past couple of years, what breakthroughs, what everyone else should be aware of. And I distinctly remember the first time that I ever delivered a talk to a large audience, and the sweaty palms, the weak knees, the racing heart, the poor presentation, the poor slides, you've probably all been there. If not, you've probably witnessed some speeches at Toastmasters that give you an idea of what it is. And so on the 2nd of June, the idea came to deliver this program to our colleagues and help them get over that fear of public speaking. We started off 2 steps. One was picking the team, and the core of the team sort of picked itself. It's the executive committee of the Analog Devices Club, which is our corporate club here in Limerick, in Ireland. And so Hanan here, Declan, Odd, I won't name everyone who was involved, but they were the key members of the team. And they would be the evaluators, the guides who would help our speech crafters on the journey. We also enlisted a few folks from outside, our district director to give an address at the celebration at the end, a former district director who's also an employee at the company to guide us along the way and give some advice, our original club sponsor. So it's a broadish team, but really, really capable stand-up people that I knew I could rely on. The second thing that we did was take a little bit of a chance. This was an opportunity to get the word out about our club. And so we put out an email to all employees of our site. So there's around 1,500 in Ireland. And we put out an email to everyone inviting them to participate in Speechcraft. We got 42 expressions of interest and unfortunately weren't able to take everyone on board. But the upshot of that has paid dividends to the club because we've got some new members already, even those who didn't attend the Speechcraft program. There were mistakes along the way. Some of the sessions that we ran didn't run to time. I hadn't rehearsed enough for the very first session and so stumbled through a little bit of it. Yeah, there was a few other mistakes as well. But you know what? People didn't really care. We oriented the whole program around the participants and what they needed to get out of it. And that was pretty simple, actually. What they needed was to be given the floor in front of supporting Toastmasters who can give them the feedback and encouragement they needed to be confident when they would take the stage in front of the rest of their colleagues. And we did that by introducing a 2 to 3 minute icebreaker, by enabling them to present a synopsis of their talk in 4 to 5 minutes, and ultimately offering the opportunity to deliver a 20-minute talk and give full feedback. We took liberties with the Speechcraft program. We didn't apply it as it's defined and giving the participants all of the roles. We knew they wouldn't have time to be a timer, to be a grammarian, even to do evaluations in this 5 weeks. The emphasis was, what do they need to be able to take the stage and deliver the talk as confidently as they could? And the feedback. Before I get to the feedback, I'm going to touch one more point. We delivered three presentations, one on how to structure a speech, one on understanding the purpose of your speech, and a third on how to deliver technical presentations. That was it. 3 5 to 7 minute talks delivered by Toastmasters to help them on their way. So what of it? How did it all go? Well, we can't take all the credit, but the best paper was delivered by a participant on the Speechcraft program. The second best paper was delivered by a participant on the Speechcraft program. Of the 15 people who participated in the program, 9 completed a feedback survey giving us suggestions on how to improve. And when asked on a scale of 1 to 10 whether they'd recommend it to a colleague, we scored an average of 9.7. Pretty compelling stuff. It's now going to be adopted at our Global Technical Conference next year for an international audience, and also some other international conferences that we run annually. What I've learned through this experience: number one, we shouldn't underestimate the power of what we have here at Toastmasters. This platform of just giving people a place to practice in a safe, supportive environment, it's incredibly powerful. And when people experience it, it helps them to thrive. The second learning is to take chances. We took a bit of a risk putting out the email to all employees that someone would get a little bit upset that we didn't follow the process and get all the sign-offs and everything. But you know what? It worked out. We got phenomenal response. But the third one is the one that I want you really to take home, and that is to follow your passion. This was a project that I was passionate about, and I'm proud of, and I can look back, and I'll always look back on being proud of this. And it's because I picked something that I was passionate about. And so in a few seconds, you're going to be asked to give me feedback for 90 seconds. Please don't do that. Use that time to write down on your sheet of paper a project that you will be passionate about and that you will breathe life into in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, David. So as requested by David, for the next 90 seconds, we will give everyone the opportunity to write down the suggestions that David has brought forth. So I'd like to invite our timer, John, to put 90 seconds on the clock. And in the meantime, I did forget to ask, David, in one word, how would you describe your 2023 and why?
Reflective. And it's because I've spent a lot of time both coaching and being coached in 2023. So a lot of reflection. Thanks, Jessper.
Thank you, David.
90 seconds.
Thank you, timer, John. If we have time after the meeting, I'd love to hear what everyone had shared. And I do see that our grammarian April has returned. April, in one word, how was your 2023 and why?
I was saying it was lazy. I was lazy, but I got laid low by COVID in Italy in the midst of the year. And it's taken me quite a while to recover from it. Forgive me, I'm having a cough drop because I'm the queen of cough drops now in having a cold that is lingering or a cough that is lingering. I would like to advise you all that what we're after today is gusto as your word of the day, gusto. And I would say to David, your passion and gusto are very good friends. Enthusiastic and vigorous enjoyment. Vitality marked by an abundance of vigor and enthusiasm. So I had huge technical problems earlier. I'm back here, I'm back on. And David, you are going to get 3 credits for gusto because of what you were emanating toward us. I'll tell you later about my project, and thank you for such a fine example. Thank you. There you go, Jessper.
Thank you, grammarian April. And I see we do have a couple of guests that had joined us for today's meeting, Barry and VH. We would love to see your faces. and that also gives our speakers the opportunity to see how engaging their message is. And then moving on to our speeches, we have our next evaluator, Victoria Trabash. Vicky, in one word, how was your 2023 and why?
Challenging. And I say that with so much gusto, it's insane. It was a tough year for me with cancer, and it looks like 2024 is going to do it again. That said, I have gust for life, and I will continue the good fight. Mr. Toastmaster, today my job as evaluator for Ray Sweeney, is to listen to the story he will tell us. He is doing motivational strategies, level 3, inspire your audience. And when I asked him what he would like me to specifically consider, he said he wants to tell a story that warms our souls. So, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, check your temperature at the end of his speech. And with gusto, I return the podium to our Toastmaster, Jessper.
Thank you, Evaluator Vicky. Ray, as I introduce you, in one word, how was 2023 for you and why?
Thanks, Jessper. I would say the one word is progressive. Why is that? Because tonight actually marks my 1-year anniversary at MoE. So I'm now a member here for a year with great gusto and appreciation for everybody. So yeah, it's been a lot of goals ticked this year and a lot more for next year. So I am ready. Are you? That's my question.
Thank you, Ray. When was the last time you knocked on a door without knowing the outcome? Knocking on a door, any door, can be a step to a better future, or so we hope. As a performance coach with a heart full of passion, our next speaker set adrift from the Emerald Isle at a younger age and luckily landed on the warm shores of Andalusia, Spain. From there, he shares a legacy that will highlight the importance of offering support in the community, even if it's a cup of tea and a biscuit. Inviting to our virtual stage, Ray Sweeney, speech title Hope. Hope, Ray Sweeney.
I was younger, much younger. Mischievous moments, just like any child. My Auntie Teresa's house was like a little piece of heaven where I could be carefree and adventurous. As a 10-year-old, I fondly remember playing a game called Knock Down Ginger or Knock a Door with my cousins. Raise your hand if you've played it. Okay, I see a few in the room have. The game involved running up to someone's door, giving it a friendly knock, then sprinting away to hide. All before the homeowner can catch you. It was all in good fun, with the thrill of not getting caught being the real challenge. As a 10-year-old, I had the freedom to run wild, climb trees, and create mischief throughout the day, knowing that Auntie Teresa's house was a sanctuary of joy. No matter what happened in her life, she always had a warm smile on her face and hope in her eyes. Always hope that tomorrow will be better. One of her most endearing qualities. See, Auntie Teresa had a heart of gold. Although not mighty in stature, she had a kind aura that would fill a room. She constantly asked, "Do you need anything? How about a cup of tea and a biscuit?" She never stopped giving, unconditionally. She wasn't just generous with her family, she extended her kindness to the entire neighbourhood, but not to play knockdown ginger. Instead, she would check on her neighbours, especially the elderly, to ensure that they were doing well, even if it was just a friendly chat. And that's how I'll always remember her. Giving, full of hope. So recently I was travelling through London on a train and I couldn't help but notice how disconnected we've become. Everyone seems absorbed in their gadgets, not engaging in conversations. The only sound in the carriages was the chatter of people talking to friends in another location or watching YouTube or TikTok. Typically now, if you walk down the street and greet someone with a simple hello, often they react as though, "What do you want?" We've become distant from one another, and many older generations reminisce about things how they used to be, where offering a compliment was a friendly gesture or an invitation to chat. Perhaps those days are behind us, or perhaps not. We can only hope. Maybe we can learn something from the past to be more helpful, more friendly, more engaging, compassionate. And I'm not suggesting that you must start conversations with every stranger on the street, but we can revive our sense of connection. We can be friendly, giving instead of taking, and help those in need. We can knock on doors, not to play pranks, but to check on our neighbours. I'm no longer that 10-year-old boy in torn jeans. I stand here as a 50-year-old man at my Auntie Teresa's funeral.
Oh.
She would have celebrated her 95th birthday this year, and even in her final days in the hospital, she continued to smile and care about the well-being of others with hope for a better tomorrow. That's something truly admirable. Mother Teresa was famous for her dedication to the needy and the poor, full of hope, always with a smile on her face. Perhaps we can aspire to be a bit more like her, looking out for our neighbours, communities, taking care of one another. So knowing what I know now, I'd like to send a message from a 50-year-old man to a 10-year-old boy. Keep knocking on doors, not to play pranks, but to ask, "Can I help? What do you need?" It's a small gesture that can make a world of difference in building a more caring and connected community. On this planet filled with challenges and uncertainties, hope becomes a guiding light. It's the belief that, despite the difficulties, a brighter tomorrow awaits. My Auntie Teresa embodied this hope with her warm smile and unconditional giving. And as I reflect on her legacy, I realize that hope is the thread that connects us all. It's the hope for kindness, compassion, and a sense of community. So let us carry forward Auntie Teresa's legacy, keeping the flame of hope alive in our hearts. In a world that sometimes feels disconnected, let's be the ones this Christmas who offer a glimmer of hope through our actions, kindness, and genuine connections. Often we hear that maybe tomorrow will be better. I say maybe is the beggar, maybe tries to walk through the fire and hope leaps over it. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ray, for your message on hope. I'd like to invite our timer to put 90 seconds on the clock for everyone to share their feedback in the chat.
90 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. And could we get the timer report for our speeches today?
Yes. We had David at 10 minutes, 33 seconds, just a little over his 8 to 10. And then we had Ray at 5 minutes and 43 seconds. And that would be my timer report so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Timer John. Moving on to our agenda, we have our table topics with Table Topics Master Judith. In one word, how would you describe your 2023 and why?
In one word, it ended up a good year. I traveled to see my friends. And in another word, I finally landed a public speaking class that I've been wanting to do for the last 3 years, and a school that teaches English to foreign students. So that's going to happen in January. So it's all good. Okay,
Thank you,
so
Judith.
yes. So let's see. With our table topics. deal here. Where are we? We're here, I think. All right, here we go. So, in this my usual fashion, I have various sayings that you can incorporate into your experience. Whatever it is that you want to do with it is what Table Topics is about. So here we are. Often when you think you are at the end of something, you are at the beginning of something else. So, okay, so we do this questions and then somebody else immediately evaluates, right? Is that what happens? Yes? Toastmaster?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. All
And
right.
I believe, are we having two? Would you like to have two evaluators for the session or one?
What do you mean to evaluate one? I think everybody, somebody evaluates each person who answers the question.
Yes, I think in previous meetings we've had two snap evaluations for each table topics.
No, we have just one.
Just one. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so having people anyway to do all this too. Okay, so this is the first one. Let's start with April. That is your quote.
I do find that this is quite true for me, Judith. Can you see and hear me well enough?
Yes, I can.
I'm thinking of this year as ending on a wonderful note, and I'm glad it's gone. I am looking forward with great gusto to becoming great Aunt April in February next year. First time in the heritage of some years where we've had a new baby in the family, and I am delighted about that. I also have a project that I'll mention later that I'm also thrilled and about proceeding with. I'm actually doing it. So I will be talking later about that. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's do a 2 minutes table topic. Okay, Harold G., you are evaluating April's response.
First, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. I enjoyed April's response. It's logical, it's sensible. I happen to like April's voice quality. She speaks clearly, she delivers well. It was a speech that got to the point. And at the same time, it was very much what I was thinking. I enjoyed the presentation. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. This is our second one. Goodbye to the challenges we faced, the lessons we learned, and the growth we achieved in let's see, then welcome 2023. I think I am missed the wrong thing here, but in any case. So I don't know why this is good, but in any case, we'll just use it as is. What new challenges we face here. Tamara, this is your quote. What are challenges you faced and what are you going to welcome with open arm 2024?
I think that challenges can be looked at as new opportunities which require new creative ideas. And this year I joined Toastmasters, and I don't want to say goodbye to it. I want to continue. And I feel incredible gusto concerning this continuation, new creative ideas, new projects. And the past year, 2023, was bittersweet for me, but I am learning to focus on sweet moments and to let go of the bitter ones. So it gives great hope, and I'm looking forward to many interesting, exciting, and inspiring projects to accomplish. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Let's see who is going to do this. Helen, please say something about Tamara's speech.
Certainly. I love Tamara's passionate, whenever she's asked to speak, she almost comes out of the screen with her passionate responses. I love it. You know, it's contagious, which is, you know, like I say, it's contagious. And you're excited and you're passionate about what you're sharing with us, which is, you know, makes it relatable as well. I liked you brought in the use of the day, and you had also had a good use of rhetoric, you know, bittersweet, but then you were going to concentrate on the, you know, those sweet things in life. So it was clear to follow, and I liked how you concluded it with, you know, what you were going to drive in for the following year. I would possible suggestion would, your breathing, you control your breathing. I felt as if you were out of breath. I don't know if it was just this excitement you had, but you I don't know, you know, just slow down a bit. Okay, but fantastic. I think that was a really good response. Thank you.
Thank you. It's time to say goodbye, but I think goodbyes are said, and I would much rather say hello. Hello to a new adventure. Sandra Savage, what is your new adventure?
The coming year is going to be a continuation of something that's happened real recently with me, and that is looking at the new challenges and new opportunities in focusing instead of being spread out amongst too many things. I'm concentrating on the things that matter, evaluating that they matter to me and that they help someone else. I'm very enjoying working with a number of people on building their next professional career. But at the same time, I'm growing while I'm helping them grow. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. It is a new adventure because I'm going to be more focused. I'm not going to scatter everywhere and be everything to everybody, because we all know the analogy of that. You spread yourself too thin. I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to be careful in how I spend my time. In fact, Ray has motivated me to start keeping a journal every day, to start every day with my journal, write down my priorities for the day, and work from that rather than letting some shiny object get a hold of my attention. So my year of new adventure is to be better focused. Thank you.
Thank you. Tamara, what do you think of Sandra's speech? Say a few words to her about that.
I think keeping a journal is very important. I've been thinking about doing it for a long time, trying to persuade myself it's time to start, it's time to start. But eventually I did start and I'm enjoying it. So I believe that Sandra will be enjoying keeping hers as well. And then it's such a pleasure to look back, reread what has happened, compare with what the plans are. So it's a very good thing to focus on for the next year. And I can just give praise to you for that.
Thank you very much. Barry, would you like to participate in this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so here is your quote. Learning without reflection is a waste. Reflection without learning is dangerous.
We learn every day. Every day is a learning day. Yeah, I recently bought a house, and there's a lot of challenges involved when you buy a house and you decide that you don't want tradesmen to come in and do the work for you, and you try to put your hand to everything. learning without reflection is a waste. Yeah, we need to look back at what we've done, and you learn to do something, but you got to think about it a bit more after you actually do it. Whether it be plumbing in a new bathroom or installing a wooden floor, you learn things from different activities that will apply to other activities. And then reflection without learning is dangerous. If you look back and think that you learned something, and you try to take something from it when you didn't learn anything, you get yourself into a bit of a spiral, thinking that you're going the right direction constantly when you're just going to spiral in circles and not get anything done. Thanks.
Thank you. David, would you, Ryan, say a few words about this particular table topics?
Sorry, Judith, are you asking me to evaluate Barry's?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. So, Barry, this was a really tough, deep topic, and I could see your struggle as you tried to chart your path through it to answer it. But you hung in there, and you got there in the end, and you delivered, I think, at the very end, that wisdom around learning reflection without learning there was a lot of insight in there. So keep with it. I think I was glad you got this one and I didn't, because this was a really tough challenge to answer on your feet. But you hung in there and you did a really good job. So congratulations, Barry.
Yes, it is tough. But the fact is that if you're not learning anything without reflection, then what's the point? Which I say, what is the point? So here we go. Shante, this is your quote. We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience.
Oh, thank you for that. Yes, we learn from reflecting on our experiences, because how many times have we in life or in general done something and then did it again? And then years later, we find ourselves kind of repeating these old habits. And we repeat those old habits because we haven't taken the time to really reflect on what that moment means. For me, I'm somebody who starts over again and again and again. And previously, I looked at that as a good thing. I said, hey, I'm somebody who's always looking for new challenges. I'm somebody who's always willing to start again. Like, that's a good thing. But then I had to really sit and reflect, especially over this past couple of weeks, because there's been so many changes in my life, and really think about, well, I'm starting over again and again, but that's because I'm not truly completing what I started the first time. So now that I've reflected on that and I understand my patterns, I can make changes to improve that. So I'm not saying it's wrong to start again. And if you're somebody who has had a life and decided that, you know what, this isn't working and I'm going to start again, I say, yes, go for it, but go for it with reflection and really understanding what it is that you are aiming for, complete that thing, and then start again if that's something that you choose. So thank you for that great question, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you. Let's see who is there. Oh, Jessper, could you evaluate Shantae's speech?
Yes, I can. Shante, I like the question that you brought up at the beginning. How often do we do something and end up doing it over and over and over again? We tend to repeat the things that we don't reflect on. As far as a suggestion, during your table topics, you did mention that over the past couple of weeks, there were many changes that happened. I would be curious to know specific examples of what their changes were. I think that would add more impact to your message of learning from experience and reflecting on those experiences. But overall, I really appreciate the gusto of your message.
Thank you. Helen, this is your quote. The best things in life are the people you love, the places you go, and the memories you make.
Yes, I completely agree. The best things in life are the people you love and going to the different places with the people you love and sharing the memories with the people that you love. I think all three together can give you the most enriched life and the most wonderful memories and places to visit. You know, if you take out one of those three, either the people or the memories that you make in visiting new places, it sort of unbalances things. You need, it's like a recipe of happiness. If you don't have love and you don't go out and see the wonderful world and the places to see and the experiences and the memories that you can gather, that you can remember and take with you for the rest of your life, and that can shape you in who you are today, I think it's going to be very hard not to get lost and a bit lonely. So I 100% agree with that quote. The best things in life are those who we love, yes, and keep hold of them. And the places you go, oh yes. I've just booked a holiday to Japan, so I can't wait to make memories with the people I love in 3 months' time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jon White, would you evaluate Helen's table topic speech?
Oh, it'd be my pleasure. What to say? First of all, I love her vocal variety and how she said yes and just left it for a minute. There was a few other people that agreed with the statements, but hadn't done it wholeheartedly. So she was all in. I liked how she took the quote and broke it apart and restated it in her own way. And then the highlight of her response for me was taking the different components, the people, the love, the memories, the experience. It's a recipe for happiness. That's all I needed, Helen. At the end, there was a restatement. It was all good, but you were at the mountaintop there and we started heading down. Still good stuff, but the most powerful ending was the recipe for happiness for me. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much, Jon. So the book is called Opportunity, and its first chapter is New Year's Day. Let's see, John Graham, somebody will time you. Maybe we'll ask someone. Can someone volunteer to time him? Jesper, can you time him?
The other John.
Yes, I can.
It's
Thank
a
you.
bond amongst Johns. I must preempt Jesper. John.
Okay, all right, okay. So
All
this
right.
is your quote.
I am screen limited at this point. Can you read it to me, please?
The book is called Opportunity, and its first chapter is New Year's Day.
Okay. I think this is a very interesting quote. You know, we have two rovers on Mars, Spirit and Opportunity. And Opportunity is still performing. This is after many years. Many, many years, like 10, more than 10 years. And its first chapter was extraordinary. It did things that no other rover had ever done. And it's still doing things, although it's not roving quite as well. So I would say that in terms of New Year's, I think we all have an opportunity to continue to expand our horizons and view our world new. And that would be my response to that book. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Who is going to do this? April, would you evaluate John's table topics?
Jon, well done. From one sticky to another, you came through, even though I know you're not feeling all that well. And I was impressed when you had to request assistance with Judith reviewing the text of the quote for you. And then you said, okay, and then you proceeded to talk about it. I love, Jon, how you have us hearing you say opportunity is still performing. you speak of a rover on Mars, but I like it because it is so true that what we have going continuously, often with gusto, is the opportunity to have performance and improved performance. And you demonstrate that today with your remarks. Thank you, Jon.
Thank you. So Harold G., what worked for you this year or didn't?
Fellow Toastmasters, what worked for me this year was to focus on moving forward and thinking positively and occasionally going into denial. That's right, going into a fantasy world to say, it will work, I can work it, and I am terrific. The bigger the lie, the better. Now, the point is, you say to yourself, oh, well, that is a form of, well, could be a form of insanity. No, you're going forward. You're moving forward. You're getting up in the morning and you say, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to do great things. And what's brought to your attention, certain errors that have been made, certain repairs that have to be repaired. And I have to call on workmen who see sucker on my forehead. And I say, no, I won't pay that much. No, you must be positive and must have enjoyment. So I find ways to reward myself and having enjoyment. I can read a book, go to a movie. Oh, because of the pandemic, you can get terrific sales on the theater now, especially downtown. At any rate, that's what I find going forward. To be positive, look forward, and to go forward. Occasionally, I do look backwards to help me go forward. So, fellow Toastmasters, look ahead, be positive, be dynamic, be passionate, even if it's questionable, but be passionate and go after it with gusto. Fellow Toastmaster, Tabletop Master.
Thank you. All right, Shante, please evaluate Harold's speech.
Harold, I love you because you are just so full of life and optimism and gusto. And so you started right off with giving us inspiration and also making us laugh. Let's go forward with some delusion. I am here for that because there are days that I need to lie to myself too. And I loved that you said that in a way that was truthful and fun and lighthearted, because I think we all can relate. There are some days that we do have to lie to ourselves, right? There are some days that we have to be the one to motivate ourselves to do better and be better. And sometimes life might not show us that in our current, but we're lying to ourselves. It's great. We're amazing. It's bigger than that. And so I loved your positive energy. I just want more. That's my feedback. Give me more, Harold. Give me more. Back to you, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you. So what are we in timing, Toastmaster? Mr. Toastmaster?
We have time for one or two more if you have any more.
I have actually
questions.
a few more as it is in my collection here. So here we are. Let's celebrate the inception of Improved Us, not the new year. Let's hear from Vicky about this.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. This year has been a chance to improve. As I say, I was just chosen to be a speaker for Purdue Women Conference in June, which I'm thrilled about. I started my academic career in 1976 at Purdue University, and I was just chosen to be a speaker at a prestigious conference. And I believe that everything that's happened to me in 2023 has led to this day. And while it's not necessarily, quote, what I'd hoped it would be, I do know it's exactly who I needed to be. So how have I improved? Well, I had more gusto for life, which I really didn't think was possible. I'm pretty gustavious. There you go, April. Slam that one all you want. But the idea of improving is not an option. I have learned, I've been called strong, I've been called brave, and I don't feel those things. But I do realize this. I have enough strength for today. And that is how I'll improve, by staying focused on the strength that I have for today. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much. Ray, would you evaluate Vicky's speech?
I certainly will. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Vicky, thank you for your speech. Absolutely superb. You shared a personal story with us, and I love the way that you paused before you spoke. Told us about 1976, and you enthralled us with a message that's going to have value that we can take away. A big takeaway is your realization. How can we make this even better? I mean, you're a seasoned, accomplished speaker. It's very hard to find any ways to improve. But I would say maybe not hit the stage with a thank you, because as we know, that can stretch out the time to think about a table topic. Angustrious. Let's get that dictionary out and all have a laugh. Is it a new word? That could be the word of the day. No, what a year you've had, and I hope 2024 is going to be kind to you. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you. All right, we have one more question here. Reflecting on my year. Let's hear this from Jon White. It's your last table topics here.
Oh, it's a beautiful picture. I want to comment on all the pictures that were shared. When I was preparing for Jessper to ask me one word, and I was going to say, not my favorite chapter in the book of John, recognizing that's many words. And then I came up with treading. Treading was my word. 2023, I was underemployed or not employed. I did have savings, but a man and a woman needs purpose and to be productive. And I did have Toastmasters. I had good friends, but I didn't have work. And I fully am capable of living a life as if I'm retired. I go online and check my accounts, and I don't have the bank account of a retired man. So I was treading. I survived. I did well. My life is pretty much intact. Toastmasters has taken up a little too much of my time, so I will push back kindly and with love. And I will enter 2024. It's funny, as it's ending, I don't know if I need to go an entirely different path. And just when I knew I had to let go of the industry I was in, I get a call yesterday. A couple of individuals quit. Do I want to join this firm? It's kind of like a scene from The Godfather. It's a great offer, but I don't know if I want to go back. So that's where I am. I love the pictorial. I love that beauty. And I'm sure 2024 will have its challenges and its successes. And I will proceed as Harold G. would, with enthusiasm, positivity, denial, and just a little older man crankiness that Harold doesn't have, but I so enjoy in this part of my life. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Sandra, would you evaluate John's speech, please?
Certainly. First of all, I enjoyed that Jon appreciated your graphics and brought that to the forefront, because they've been great graphics, very reflective, as Jon's response was very reflective, not only on the past year, but also on other Toastmasters that he had referred to, which is always nice to have a callback, because we all love to hear our favorite word, our name. I like Jon's humor. I like Jon's play on words. Treading is an awesome word. And tread lightly, bringing back into Harold G's rover on Mars. You know, we may be older, but we're treading more carefully in oh so many ways. Jon, you've brought so much, a great closing to this. Your delivery style is always engaging, humorous, thoughtful, and your word spacing is so easily digestible that it makes what you say something that we retain for a long time. Well, hopefully all of 2024. Back to you, Judith.
Thank you so much. And this is the end of our table topic session. Thank you for everyone of participating on both ways. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Jessper.
Judith, thank you for delivering on today's theme. Great job on the visuals and great job on keeping everyone engaged. And I'd like to turn it over to our timer for the timers report for the table topics.
Sure, thank you. Let's see. We had a good round here. April started out with 54 seconds, just a little short, and then Helen was 27 seconds in her response. Tamara was 116 with Helen 109, and then Sandra was 129. Tamara 47 seconds. Barry 115, and Dan 143. And then Shantae was 130, Jessper 38 seconds, Helen 134, Jon 46. I'm not sure about, but Jon may know that. April was 51 in response. Harold was 136, Shantae was 35 seconds, Vicky was 115, Ray 57 seconds, Jon was 149, and Sandra 113. And that would be my report.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. And I know Jon White had the timing report on your table topics.
Under a minute. I didn't want to make too fine of a point on that.
Thank you. And then moving on in our agenda, this is the part of the meeting where I will turn it over to our general evaluator, Helen. Over to you, evaluator Helen.
Thank you very much, Jessper, our Toastmaster. So the superb part of the evening where we get to aim to learn even further from our fellow speakers and encourage us all to learn more with gusto with the suggestions that we will hear from the evaluators. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Rumbarazai. Am I saying it correctly? Apologies.
Yes, you are saying it correct. And
Thank
my
you.
apologies. My camera is not on at the moment. I'm in transit, so.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
No worries. I'll pass you over the floor to yourself to evaluate our first speaker, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you Toastmasters, depending on where you are, but a special good morning to David, who did his distinguished Toastmasters speech, Lose Yourself. So today, David, your speech, I'm going to be using the STAR technique to evaluate your speech because you really shined in this project to your DTM journey, where the S will be for your strengths, the T, the takeaway, the A, the areas of improvement, and the R, the recommendations. So the strengths were just the delivery. There was so much gusto and passion in your delivery. You spoke straight from the heart, and we felt truly engaged in what you had to say, because as you were describing it, your personal story, it was enriched with so much integrity, and we could see it through your facial expressions. I loved how you started off telling and describing the feeling that you had about your sweaty palms and about your knees being weak and about your heart pounding, and your body language at the same time was corresponding to those actions. And these are very relatable things that we find in public speaking. So that was a great thing that we could all relate to. And there was that intrigue that you brought into it as well. When you likened yourself to Eminem, we were all looking to see what is that common denominator that
you have with this celebrity, Eminem, and it was all about public speaking, something that we all are here to do better at. And I also loved how you engaged us by asking questions. What is your mission? And this in turn helped us to become a part of your story. And you were not just talking at us. Now, this noble task that you had, identifying people in your organization to help them to be able to deliver the best speech that they could, and the enormous success that you had when this same project enabled you to be able to put forth the same strategies that you put into this project on a more global scale. They invited you to do the very same project internationally with your team. Now, the takeaway which we saw from this, you mentioned how we shouldn't underestimate the power of the Toastmasters stage, the safe environment that we have, that we should continue to take chances, and that we should follow our passions. And that was a great take home from the lessons learned. Now, a few areas of improvement for you to shine brighter. There was one point in your facial expression where you were talking about how you had the sweaty palms, but you were smiling. And at times, when that happens, when your facial expression is not matching with what you're saying, it sometimes takes away from the meaning that you're trying to portray. And in addition to this, the vocal variety at times seemed like it was constant throughout your speech. You had so many great lessons to share, and I would have loved to see that variation for impact and that incorporation of pauses to better drive home the point that you want to put through. Otherwise, a very well delivered speech, and you made your objectives. Back to you, General Evaluate.
Sorry, I was just jotting down my notes. Thank you very much for that thorough evaluation of Ryan David's speech. So over to our second evaluator, and they're Victoria. I'll pass the baton over to yourself to evaluate Ray, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Evaluator. Thank you all for listening to Ray's speech today, and especially Ray. It was a beautiful story. Your Auntie Teresa came alive for us. And that's what your intention was to wrap the story of hope around a single figure who's had a tremendous impact on your life. And you did that really well. I thought that your Knockdown Ginger story was great, and you explained it well. And as Jon White put in the chat, it's known as something different in the US. And that was helpful too to me, because I have played that game. And the visuals you created were really powerful. When you were talking about being on public transport and everybody is looking at their gadgets, I saw it. And that's powerful storytelling. You know, in the evaluation form, there's clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures. I gave you all 5s, except for vocal variety. And I gave you a 4. And I gave you a 4 because you spoke in sort of one tone. Now, this was a very deeply felt speech for you. And there was a lot of emotion in it. And I'm going to give you a huge challenge. Use humor. You need to take your audience up and down. We were in this tender moment the whole time, basically. When you talked about the game, when you started, you caught my attention when you said Knockdown Ginger. You started very, very quietly, and I didn't quite catch what you said, but they say that you should start your speech the moment people start listening. And that's when I started listening, when you talked about Knockdown Ginger. And adding humor, you started to when you said older people reflect on the good old days. It would have been great if you said, like me, I'm older now, and now I'm doing, which we all do, what our parents did. Like, I remember so-and-so. And the reason I know you can use humor is the first time I delivered a speech on the genocide of Tutsi against Hutu in Rwanda. I flattened my audience. And someone said to me, "You've got to use humor." And I said, "What's so funny about a genocide?" And they said, "No, that's not it. You have to find a way to add humor to take us from that tender spot, to give us a second to laugh." I think it might have been helpful if you'd had a lovely picture of your Aunt Teresa behind you smiling. It would have made you smile, and it would have given us even more understanding of this beautiful woman. I really enjoyed the speech. You said that you did not want to have a strong call to action, when in fact you did. You did it by default by telling us such a beautiful story about hope. And I want to thank you for delivering this speech today. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Victoria. And I'd like to pass it over to our grammarian, April, to give us a report on today's use of language and word of the day.
I appreciate your opportunity, Madam General Evaluator. You all kept me very, very busy, although I had to arrive a bit late due to technical disqualifications. First of all, as I go forward, I want to compliment Judith on a flawless sharing of her screen. I have not always seen flawless screen delivery, and baby, you did it. Well done. You did it with gusto. Hey, that's true. That's true. David, you used gusto 3 times. Vicky, 4 times. Wearing your fluffy and furry neckline and green nails. Ray, you delivered us gusto verbally twice. And Auntie Teresa's certainly a beacon of gusto, if you ask me, with her brighter tomorrow. We had quite a telltale of all of us, practically all of us, Rumby, not a peep from you. We kept saying so today. So. We are not a so group. We are a group that goes forward and watches how we communicate. And we need to get rid of saying so frequently. Judith, you had 8 so's, 1 1 a. April, you had a so. Tomorrow you had an and an ah and a gusto. Helen, you had gusto and passion as you were reviewing Tamara. Sandra, even you gave us a so. And also, I wanted to comment Barry. He had 5 ums and 1 yeah. And you gave us going into a bit of a swirl. I cannot tell you, Barry, how many times that's exactly what I do, but I've never had that phrase before. Thank you for that phrase. David, I got a so from you. Shantae, I got 2 from you, and I got again and again, but that was part of how you were delivering. Jesper, you were right there with a gusto. Helen with a gusto, a so, an ah, and an Whew. John, you gave us a recipe for happiness. Let's all dine together. John Graham, my darling, even with your difficulty with disease today, you have a so and an in there, but you still have opportunity for performance to be ours. Harold G., I loved you teaching us a thing or two. Lie a little bit. Okay, we can do that with gusto. Harold, you were just so effective in your remarking and relaying to us that lie a little bit. It's not going to hurt anybody. And reward yourself. Yes. Shantae, gusto, and Harold being lighthearted. Vicky speaking in Purdue. Congratulations. I just love it. Also, you had 1 so, Vic, gusto and gustovious. Yay. I want you to use the gustovious term in your speech at Purdue. And I want to tell you all, I appreciate you. And so I will say thank you for allowing me to be your grammarian with gusto. Back to you.
Wow, thank you very much for such a thorough report with so much gusto for us all to learn from. So this evening, or today's meeting, I'll stick with yourself, April. I love it how you're calm and your passionate manner, even when you start the meeting right to the second with a smile and just so professional. And I think we always, well, I feel as if, you know, I'm in good hands as soon as you start the meeting. I loved it where you demonstrated the word of the day just as it is with gusto. You know, you filled your scream. It was just, what a way to demonstrate the word of the day. It was superb. And I really like the pointing out the filler words and the so's, because I'm guilty of it and I want to know which ones I'm using and how many times, because I hate them. So thank you for sharing those. I know it makes everyone cringe, but this is why we're here to learn. Jon, our timer this evening, or today, sorry. I think, you know, hats off to you if you're feeling absolutely rotten, and I can hear it in your voice. And I'm sure you do this, you know, maybe clarify before the meeting the timing of the speeches. But again, I know you've been up against it with feeling so poorly. And when you're reading out the timing reports for these table topics and evaluators, I would suggest clarifying the difference, because when you're reading out all the names, you know, some people, you know, seconds, I thought, oh, was that somebody's table topic or was that an evaluator? Just to clarify, you know, Helen's table topic, such and such a times, evaluator, if that makes sense. Jessper, Toastmaster, loved it, straight to the point, explaining the theme. Loved your politeness to everyone, introducing all, and your control with April's technical problems at the beginning there, kept the meeting smoothly going. I did feel that we were hearing two intros, where the evaluators were obviously introducing the speakers, but then when it went back to yourself, you introduced the speakers again. I don't know if that's normal, but I don't know if we need two introductions there. The evaluator one, Rumbazai. Again, you know, I mean, I know with your camera being off, but I think you dealt with that very well. My suggestion is, I don't know if you didn't have the chance, but to maybe speak to the speaker beforehand to gather some information so you can introduce them on a more personal manner and more about what their speech is about, rather than I felt it was just reading a blurb from Pathways. So I've just used a filler word there. My suggestion with your evaluation, you've only got 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Don't waste time with good mornings to everyone and highlighting what you're going to be evaluating. We know all that. So get straight to the point, because you had some good suggestions. Give them and get straight in there. Looked how you clarified the list and giving examples. Giving examples is a perfect way for the other people to also learn what you're pointing out, you know, like it's when the suggestion of the example of the facial and the gestures not matching. You explained the importance of that. So not only were you helping David, you were helping us all by sharing the example. Victoria, our second evaluator, I loved your quote, "Gust for life and continue with the fight." I loved how you started your introduction with that. Brilliant introduction, passionate, and you set up the speech for Ray perfectly. I love it how you clearly outlined the purpose of the speech with pause and control. You used examples of what Ray did well, you know, with the visuals that he used. So again, we can learn from your suggestions. Your suggestions of use humor and the vocal variety and the importance of humor. You're spot on. And you not just said, oh, use humor and it's important to use. You backed it up, which carries a lot more weight. And again, we can all learn. This is the whole idea of this part of the meeting, you know, evaluations, so we can learn from others people's opinion and move forward. And thank you everyone for yet another good meeting. I'll pass it over. Is it back to Jessper or to the president? I'm sorry, I don't know. I haven't got my agenda.
I will turn it back over to our timer for timer's report.
Thanks very much, Jessper.
For I didn't get Helen's total time. I'm sorry, but I did get Rubidazi at 4:01 and Vicky at 3:13. And Helen, I apologize. I didn't get my time restarted for you.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. And General Evaluator Helen, excellent evaluation. And before I give my closing remarks, there was one functionary that I did not get to introduce earlier. Shante Howard. Shante, are you still on?
I am.
Yes. In one word, how would you describe your 2023 and why?
Oh, one word, growth. 2023 has been about changes that have all brought about growth in my life, and I'm excited for what 2024 is going to bring.
Excellent. Thank you, Zoom Master Shante. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your favorite memories, highlights, and lessons learned over the year. As we say farewell to 2023, I'd like to wish everyone a happy holidays and a happy new year. And while I still have the stage, I'd like to take a quick group photo. And I do see some people, VH and Rumadzai. I'd like to invite you to turn your cameras on, but if you're not comfortable doing so, no pressure. So let's take a look at the camera. Ready, 1, 2. Perfect. Over to you, President Jon.
Thank you very much. A wonderful year-end meeting. Congratulations all as usual. Time is short. Mr. Briscoe, Mr. Do-It-Yourself, what'd you think of the meeting? And Dave Ryan.
It was good. I actually partook in the workshop that David started within ADI. So it was nice to experience Toastmasters and table topics in an entirely different setting. And I didn't expect to be involved, but thanks for the opportunity.
Great, thank you. Our hope is now that he's at DTM, he's not too big for us and he won't forget us. He'll come visit, still be his secretary and everything else. Volanda, also known as VHMBA. What'd you think of our meeting? Exactly. Speechless. That's how dramatically she was impacted. Okay, let's take on some business, if we may. Let's all unmute ourselves here. As you know, we have board members. They're selected for the full term, starts July 1st, ends June 30th. So the current term ends June 30th, 2024. Life happens, things change. And Vincent Naray, who's our VP of membership, has informed us. I think we know that he's moving and there's life changes afoot. So he's not able to continue in that role. And he did something that we asked all people to do, whether you're signed up for a meeting or you're a board member, if you can't fulfill your duty, to find a replacement. And he has searched high and low, and he's found an incredibly qualified person who has volunteered. That's a personal judgment. I hope it's one that you all share. This is a formal club business matter we're taking up. I'm putting out to the floor that Miss Shante Howard has stepped forward to continue with the VP of membership. You all know her. I don't think there's a need for any qualifying comments. If you have a question, fine. Is anyone have a motion that we adopt, that we accept Shante Howard to continue as VP of membership through June of 2024? Is there a motion? Okay, there is a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I got a second. All right, let's just raise our hands for those who say aye to Shante being VP of. I love it. Barry's voting as well. Any nays? Okay, Great. Congratulations. Shantae, mute yourself. Seriously, you're a very busy lady. We know that your club growth and doing all these other things. Thank you so much for taking this on. Thank you.
VPM, honestly, is probably one of my favorite roles. So this is going to be a treat. So thank you for having me.
I will refresh your memory. The what is it? The club success plan says that we will add 7 members between now and June 30th. You may want to familiarize yourself with that. Here, having fun. All right, let's sign up for next week, or for next year.
Well, happy holidays to everyone.
Yes. Happy
Happy
holidays.
New
Hey, George,
Year.
happy holidays.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Good seeing everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Let's bring some peace to the world.
Amen.
Yes,
That's
that'll be wonderful.
Word.
And some hope.
Peace and hope.